Hello YouTube, Infinite Magicraid community, Gandalf here. You probably saw me post the video of Lance a week ago. And I was like, yeah, no doubt about it. This hero is strong. We showed him, we calculated his multipliers um, pretty much at E3. He's doing about 3,000 times of his attack. Probably the highest multiplier you could get towards single targets. Um, but his attacks are really spread across, right? It's 6 stages to different enemies. The pursuits are really random. It averages out to maybe on average about 600. Well, I guess 600 to 700 multiplier to each opposing enemy. And I was like, and it's like spread across a lot of tiny little hits, right? So I was like, his PvP potential is okay, right? It might be there. We don't know how his echo are going to change things. We see a lot of skill damage reduction and is skill damage based. And I feel like after getting sent some screenshots and some short clips, I feel like it's necessary to share some of these clips, and I think just so that people are aware. I think some of the people who've been on the receiving end of this is already aware. But thank you, little Finchy here for sending me this clip. So let's take a quick look here. And then you tell me, what's disturbing about this clip. All right, by the way, power-wise, you already saw, right? This is not a weak opponent, relatively speaking to him. But we're going to slow down the clip just so that you see what kind of buffs we actually have here. Okay, so he has attack up from Lydia. He has his Moricus went, and then his Lance is about just went right now. All right, so just pausing in slow mo here, looking so you get a chance to see some of the really big numbers. Okay, there's a 357 K bleed somewhere in the background here. Not sure how the heck did that happen. That these little electric shocks, these individual half 50% attack is already doing 80k bleed each. That is a lot of bleed damage, and everyone taking turn is eating a ton of bleed damage. Just in case you didn't get that, we'll just watch that very slowly one more time. All right, we'll just try to pause at the right moment. So we see Lydia go, right? We got the attack up from everybody. And then we got the surge. What surprised me here, oh, never mind. There is no Beatrix on the side. The just Airto. But this is a very tanky team, right? Like we're talking about, Wukong and Salter on defense here, and you also got Paul in with the extra shield on there. You can see there's a big amount of shield on everybody, right? Moricus did a decent amount of damage, but for the most part, it didn't do that much. All right, now then God's instruction comes in, and you see the lightning coming down. And just look at some of these massive hits, right? 209, 183. All of these are very big hits. This is from the skill. The smaller damage are from the bleed. What I don't understand is why are some of the numbers super small? Like where did the 119,000 come from? Right? Maybe that was because if the shield broke and that little extra damage, but it's just so many numbers here. And then the pursuit attack are just finishing everything off. So going from last week where we were all struggling trying to figure out how to quickly cleave Airto teams, this just came in, right? And this wasn't just from him, right? This was sort of like, at the high end, not at the Kraken level. Then Gerald posts this over in the Mystic chat, and I copied it over. And you can see him up against Lord Eric. What's even scarier in this clip, is that there wasn't even a Lydia. There wasn't an Airto either. He just straight up Beatrix into this nuke, and Lord Eric fell down flat with a very solid defense here. Like, there is a lot of damage reduction. Maybe not the maximum you could put out there, but it's insane to see how much damage Lance did. So I started trying to figure out, the math behind it and see, what could have caused all that to happen. So first of all, when we look at his echo, if you have somewhat higher of the echo, like even if you get like 2 copies, right? 5 layers, you're getting 22.5 extra skill damage here. You could go up to 50.25, I guess. 50.25, yeah. That's a lot of extra skill damage. And you get 5 layers of generosity. Beginning of the wave. So immediately when you start up, right, you get 10 layers of God instruction. When they cast skills, they will be converted to generosity for 2 turns. 5 layers can be converted. So you get all of these stacks when you pursue attack, and then you get converted. But you start with 5. So yeah, you get a decent amount. You get a decent amount when you cast right away, right? So you get those first 5. All 5 gets converted. So you get whatever this number is multiplied by 5 for skill damage. You build him with all skill damage up. Looking at his skills again, right? Yes, these he's gonna get the Resolute. So there's another 40 before he casts his spells. These do count as bleed, do count as skill damage. I guess maybe because he's, yeah, his bleed damage, pursuit attack, whereas the pursuit attacks are high, right? 10 pursuit attacks of this, right? 10 pursuit attacks of 210 plus 1 electric shock. So maybe I miscalculated. Like just the pursuit alone will be 2,700. And then you get, for each stage, does 260. So 260 to 6 attacks. So one of the enemy for sure is going to eat 520. And then you get all of these additional electric shocks. So the multiplier is actually a lot higher than I originally calculated. Plus, if you build him full devouring, you give him skill damage, plus the bleed up, which is a straight multiplier where, because while you get skill damage reduced, the dot damage reduction isn't a lot. So you get the extra 50% bleed up with the Resolute. That all of a sudden explained why I was hitting through. And I didn't actually catch this when I was doing testing. And I keep saying, I wish for the devs that, when we do these hero trials, we can throw in the echoes. We can throw in, I guess we can. In theory, we just have to do more math and calculate what those echoes are, input into the stats directly to do the test. It's a little bit more tedious. I'll remember to do that in the future. But with that, let's say that, by sharing this with you, the RNG gods has blessed me, and by serving this deed and doing this public service announcement so that you don't miss out, that it will grant me a copy of Lance on my first attempt. And, the worst that could come worse is I get a Marvel. But yeah, it just, the multiplier on this hero, now I think about it, this is a little bit disturbing how high of a multiplier they put onto this hero. Maybe because Grace was kind of a, Grace wasn't that great. So, but man, for Lance, his multiplier, if you actually add all these numbers together and all these little tiny hits come down, it is a very, very high damaging hit. Okay, that's unfortunate. That's incarnate. So I guess I won't be able to get a Lance, but at least we're one pity away towards our next limited hero. I will hopefully be able to borrow other people's accounts to mess around with him a little bit more. But yeah, like Lance is quite solid. He's definitely a solid one. I almost feel like I wonder if it's worth it to. Then again, right? We're less than a month away from Halloween, and I just feel like if I were to splurge right now, so I think as much as Lance is super strong, let's all be strong together, and I do feel like for the majority of the player base, the wiser choice is to wait for the limited hero that's coming through. But Lance, I really hope they put him in a box so that he becomes more accessible to players, because, man, Lance is good. It will be a shame not to get him, but it is very expensive to get heroes through Miracle Summon. So yeah, I just thought, at least make a statement correction. I thought he was just, gonna contend for the highest DPS spot in Bleed, but nope, he's definitely making his way into the PvP meta just like that. All right. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Gandalf out.